Like India,
Sure.
less than 80 years ago became free. But I'm
Yes.
looking at this as entrepreneurial Independence Day. Like, how do you get your financial freedom? How do you get to the next level? Vinny, as well as anybody, that most millionaires are not financially free. Most millionaires are asset rich, cash poor. They
Yes.
don't have passive income. They don't have assets that are really bringing them a lot of money. They may have a bunch of money in the stock market. They may have a bunch of money in their house. They may have a bunch of money in a real estate or a business,
Yes.
but they could be making absolutely no cash flow or very little cash flow. Independence Day to me is, how do I go back and look at my portfolio and free up my time, free up my money, free up, get rid of the assets they're just taking my time, and go and take that money and roll it into assets that take no time and actually give me time, give me money back. So Independence Day to me means something different than I think a lot of people, but I think you and I can celebrate it together as, hey, Financial Freedom Day and Independence Day.
With what you're saying, it's the our abundance mindset show is about that. We want to make sure we are independent of our own thoughts, and our own relationships are boundless, I should say. The money is velocity of money. I really talk about that a lot. You got to not just keep money in a stagnant position where it's just decreasing in value with the inflation and everything measures. You got to invest, and good debt is good debt. Bad debt is bad debt. What's good debt? Good debt is where you are making money with the leverage, where the cash flow is coming, your equity is increasing. Those are the only two things: cash flow and equity gain. Your business is growing. You are able to, like the RALs, right? I already closing on the second one right now. And in just 1.5 months, it's just mind blowing to me. Then we just looked at another 30, 30, 30 units. These people want to sell, and it's empty. And I'm looking into it and doing some numbers, and what will it take for me to take it down with the leverage. And then also, you got to have the operational money. That's the other part in RALs. But freedom, just like you said, Independence Day, freedom of mind, freedom of what can be expecting ourselves. There should be no limitation. We should live life with no fear, no fear. The key thing is we put limitations ourselves, the blockage, the shackles, the chains. We are liable for our own shackles. I say that. Today is the day we should come out of those shackles and break those locks, and be say that not only USA is free, but I'm free today.
I'm
I'm
free
free.
today.
I'm free today.
I love this because, Vinny, it's so relevant to what we've been working on the last 2 years together, and moving people towards financial freedom. And today is really, it's
Yes.
Independence Day. I love that you mentioned Sadhguru. I follow him also. Almost every video he puts out, I'm just like, I'll watch it like two or
I
three
love it.
times because it's so
Yes.
good, so true. Release. So some practical
Yes.
steps before we dive into like more practical things. Let me ask you a question about
Sure.
investors looking at their portfolios right now and saying, man, okay, these guys are talking about financial freedom, financial independence, talking about leverage, we're
Mhm.
talking about debt. And one of the things that Ron and I, we made a mistake last year. We didn't have enough leverage. So we made a profit of $2 million. And that 2 million, I want to say there's 800,000 we couldn't apply it against. So there's a big capital
Wow.
gain that he and I are going to have to
Yep.
pay. And
Hmm.
like, we were looking and saying, man, how could we have fixed this? What could we have done differently? And what
Hmm.
we came up with was a levered loss. If we had bought a
Ah.
property and done a cost seg where we borrowed
Yes.
all the money to do that, or we bought
Yes.
in and
Yes.
brought in a ton of renovation and we borrowed the money to do that, then we could have
Totally.
levered
Cost
that loss.
segregation. Cost
Right.
segregation is the biggest thing to
Yeah.
save taxes, because in that you get to write off everything, capex, as well as all the 5 year schedule of depreciation, and 15 years and 10 years in first year.
Yep.
So everything, the P&L could be making a lot of profit for us, but the depreciation can make it negative. And that's the beauty in real estate. And that's why I'm looking forward to doing cost segs on my RALs, because a lot of furniture goes in, everything. And the other thing is to reinvest the money back into your business. So that also is a very good technique. I'm learning more and more about it now, because we are buying these new properties just by ourselves, not syndicating them.
I love that you're at that phase where you're like, you know what? It's just There's not. I now have so much capital. I don't really want to bring anybody in on this one. It just doesn't make sense to bring in extra capital right now, which is it's a tough
Yeah.
place to be, Vinny. What are you gonna do? So some practical strategies. So for each of you who's listening, Wealth Principle 36 is be impeccable with your word. Comes from the book, The Four Agreements. And if we can get into some practical tips, Vinny, for somebody who needs to maintain consistency or reliability in their commitment, somebody who like has said yes but then doesn't follow through, what are some things that they can ask themselves before saying yes to prevent themselves from jumping into things that they end up just not being able to fulfill on? What ways are there to align their actions with their words or to reinforce trust and credibility with people that they're speaking with?